Well, good morning, y'all. My name's Dave, and we're here at my little workstation, aka the kitchen table. And I was just tying up a bunch of jigs and thought, well, I'll tie some for you guys on camera. So here's what I was tying up today. You can kind of see. You can't, not focusing. But I was tying these up. So I'll just show you what I got going here. Gentleman uptown that I know ordered some of these today. Well, I actually ordered them the other day, but I'm supposed to deliver them this morning. See, my vice ain't tight. So, but anyways, I clipped this little bait keeper off on these jigs that have the bait keeper on them. And I don't remember what mold number this is, but I make these jigs. I pour the lead. Of course, I buy the hooks, but I pour the lead and powder coat them myself and then bake them off. Make them pretty hard. But what I got is, I got a bunch of scraps here. And you see there's a little scrap piece of marabou. And I'm just utilizing all my scraps and tying some jigs. And what I like to do is go the back of the feather, the back of the hook, to the front of the jig head. That's usually how long I make the tail. So, but then when I put it on there, I put it where I cut right behind the head. But anyways, I'll show you how quick it is to make a jig. And see, that's not enough. So you grab another piece of scrap. And see, these are all different lengths and angles. So what you do is, you pull them out sideways like this, where they come out sideways. You kind of get them started, and then you can make them pretty much the same length. So match the tails up, trim for length, and then lock it on there. And this is just little marabou tails that I had laying around. And then get you a piece of chenille, and if you leave it long, it's just going to get tangled in everything. So what I do is I cut me a piece about 8 inches long or so, and I usually do 2 or 3. And then you could just take and lock that down like that. Then you wrap it, and don't drop it. Run your line and lock that down. And what I'm doing is, as I take it over, I'm going underneath this and back around to lock it down. But that's all it takes to make a little crappie jig out of marabou. And that gives you a nice little crappie jig. And just, when you got the same color, and you got plenty of scraps laying around that are just ugly scraps, you can type a few of these pretty quick. And I went and got ahead of myself and cut that feather. I'll keep it pinched with my fingers. Now I take a pair of toenail clippers. I just clip that bait keeper off, or fingernail clippers, or use your dikes or whatever. Lock that thread in and repeat this whole process. Not enough again, so you're going to go back to your feather, pour some more off the side. And you can make these as thin or as fluffy as you want. I mean, some of the guys that I know that tie, they'll use a whole marabou feather on one little jig, and it just got the biggest, poofiest tail. And, you know, that's fine. They can do that if they want. They're their flies, their jigs. And lost my little piece. There it is. I got too much trash piled up on the table here. But you can knock out some jigs pretty quick if you get with it and get the process down. As you can see, they go pretty fast. And there's you another one. And then do one more. I always do mine in 3s or 6 or 9 or 12 when I'm doing colors. And this guy, he kind of wants a multi-pack of different colors and sizes because he's never got any jigs before, so he just kind of wanted to see what I had available. So, plus I need to start getting back and tying my boxes that I do for spring and give away as gifts, or some people buy them from time to time, but I'm not too, keen on just tying flies all day for everybody. See, now I trimmed that feather a couple times just to get enough tuft to get it in there. I'm trying to stack them up like that. I can't get them to stack right. So just be patient with it. And you can sit there in a day and you can tie, 20, 30 jigs, or you can tie a couple hundred, depending on, what you're wanting, how fast you're wanting to go. See, that's still a little thin. And like I said, I'm just using trash, so this ain't lost money. This is found money. And then if you sell jigs, you want to make it, even if you don't sell jigs, you want to be as economical as possible with your jig making. And see, that one's enough now. I'll probably put a little bit more in there, but this can be a skinny guy. That there was a famous painter on Channel 8. Everybody knows who I'm talking about. Had a big red afro. Very gentle guy. And he said there is no mistakes, just happy accidents. And that's kind of, when you do flies, that's kind of what you do. I've had a lot of people say that they like the way I tie flies or jigs, stacking the feather like I do on my rooster hackle feather jigs. They makes it easier. There's been a couple guys comment online, hey, that I like the way you stack the feathers and all that. Here's one of those little jigs. As you can see, it's got stacked feathers on it. So, but when you tie up a bunch of stuff, even here, I'll show you some little bitty guy. Actually, we'll do a couple in yellow. Now, a lot of guys are real adamant about matching thread to their jigs and all that and everything. A lot of times I use red, or I'll use an olive, or I'll use a cream color, because when you do that, then it matches in, blends in pretty well. What are you doing, Minnie? My dog is walking through. Little dachshund, Dotson, whatever. But when you do it like this, let's make a little brighter feather. I haven't used these yet. These are all sewn together, so when you buy them, kind of keep them in line. Okay, now here's a new feather, and if you go like this and you only pinch that end off, you're wasting all of this down here. So what I do is I open up the feather. I'll find the main vein or quill. I don't even know what it's called, but you find that and you snip that off, and then you get this right here. So, like again, I like to go like that. On these ones, usually you just make it about a finger width longer than the hook. And you just lock that in there. See, that's not enough, so you grab that feather that you trim that top piece off. This has got some side bunch. And see, if I did that again, I would lose all that in there. So when it gets to like this, like I said earlier, it's sometimes easier just to push it out and then trim each side off to get the length you want. This is also pretty thin feather. Coffee machine's done. That's what that ringing was. But this is just kind of what I'd sit here and just tie up and stuff and keep going at it. This one's got a nice color to it. And also, just to add, a lot of my material that I use is UV'd, so it's nice and bright. Here, let's throw some orange on there. What does that look like? Yeah, throw a little orange on it. Just kind of making things as I go. And these little marabou ones like this is a size 4 hook, by the way, sickle hook. And I use this real tight little chenille and make a real tight little jig. This will be a real thin profile jig, and this would be great for colder water, spring, early spring, when things are still small, when they're being finicky and they just want tiny stuff. Now see, I use that red thread on this fly, or on this jig too, but if you pull it in there tight enough, you don't even see the red. So, but there's you a little marabou jig, and I just keep at it and keep tying, keep doing things. But I'm gonna get to, when I'm talking to you guys, I get slowed down and not concentrating. I just want to encourage you to, it's easy to tie jigs. You can get as many colors as you want. Here's a bag of color. You can get many different colors of chenille. It's not that expensive. If you go to eBay, you can find some that are just a couple bucks for 5 yards of chenille. So, but I usually just go to Designers in Wichita. Go give Jim and Dave and all them guys down there a holler and buy you some stuff, and tell them that you saw this crazy bearded tattoo guy on Double Hook Angling, and you know, they're not going to give you a discount, unfortunately, but you know, you can just say hi to them and tell them I sent you in. You know, they are really great guys. So hey, thanks for watching Double Hook Angling. I'm Dave. I'll see you later. Appreciate it, guys. Go catch some fish.